meditation in the beginning could be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
You sit still, you try not to think anything, and all the thoughts that just keep
Yeah.
coming in. So for those who have this problem, and it's a real problem, you can just do nature walks. You can just go and
Mm.
walk in the forest and clear your head. Go for several hours.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
gonna say there are actually a lot of sort of different spiritual paths, and just because, meditation's a pretty wide word, but sometimes it gets thought of very narrowly.
yeah,
And if that sort of narrow definition doesn't work for you very well, there are other ways, and there's one of them, like you were saying, working through nature. But yeah, you got to find what's right for you, at least at the point in time that
yeah.
you're.
Meditation shouldn't be a chore. When it becomes a chore, it doesn't work. Because you hate it, it's like with exercising. If you hate exercising, you're not gonna get any benefit from this, and you're just not gonna do it basically. So find something, because meditation, if you look at it, it's basically altering your brain frequency. Actually, we live in a world of frequencies. Everything is about frequencies. And in Kali Yuga, again, it's much more difficult to sit still and meditate because you have daily schedules, you have neighbors, you have sounds, you have family members, you have, world out there, and it disturbs you. And sometimes I remember there was a period in my life when I was going through intense purification, when suddenly, like as soon as I would sit to meditate, my neighbors would just have a disaster and they would be knocking on the door and somebody would start drilling something and construction would be going on and the dogs barking and the airplanes flying. So yeah, so we have to deal with all this, and it's an interesting test. But you can start with something very simple, just being alone in the nature, just walking on a seaside, walking in the forest. This is a good meditation because it gets you used to being in this kind of relaxed alpha state. And to this, you can start adding different practices as you go.
Hmm.
Another thing, of course, which is recommended, and especially this is for people between first and second initiation.
I don't want to lose that. I think what you said there is very important.
Yeah.
That this idea, because it really can be overwhelming, like somebody who's interested in spiritual development, and then they're told it has to be like this and you have to do this. But you really need to find where you're at. And if you're starting out with something very simple like walking through nature, and then like you just said, you add in something, that
Yes.
when there's an opportunity, when there's room, when it fits, when you're able to make it work properly for you, then you can start adding in some other practice to it.
Yes, you don't have to be at war with yourself. Basically, at war with your own subconscious, because you don't know what's in it, and you're gonna lose.